Hello, it's Wednesday and we're back with another video. What are we doing today?
Well, I was about to, we were gonna shoot a video for something else, but then I came across this video that I saw on Twitter.
Okay.
Some very alarming things happening right now on SA, and I feel like we should discuss it.
Okay.
Let's just check out this clip first, and then you tell me what you think about it.
Okay.
Now, Basic Education is proposing unisex bathrooms in public schools. It also wants to do away with pronouns to indicate genders such as boys and girls or him and her. Now, the public will get an opportunity to comment on the proposals from next year, but there's already been some backlash from political parties as well as civil society. So let's discuss this now with Dr. Claudine Tani, an expert on gender diversity in education, joining me this morning right here on the SA Morning. Doc, thank you so much for your time and good morning to you. What are your views, particularly on the proposal tabled here by the Basic Education Department?
Well, I must say that we welcome the proposal made by the department because it's in line with our constitution. And more than anything, the Basic Education Department has been consistent in its attempt to create safe spaces for the learners who are gender diverse. And this is definitely a welcomed move by the from the department. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on all of this?
I have a lot mixed thoughts. Yeah, this is very scary. One, I'm gonna say that, particularly like, in schools, bruh, we know, like, well, the first thought that makes it very scary for me is that it's never really been safe to have a bathroom of both sexes for many reasons, and we know things that happen in those type of situations, and that's why I feel like we've always taken the stance of separating the two, and not only in schools but even in public spaces, because we know it just doesn't work out well. You know what I'm saying? But then now I get why they're trying to do that, because there are also, you know, individuals who are part of, or who are gender diverse, let me say, that are also experiencing issues, you know, going to bathroom. Like, we know, like, transgender women, right, them being forced, or them having to go into male bathrooms. We know, like, the like, a lot of the things that they experience in those situations, in that, like, they get bullied. They, like, it's a sad situation for them. Like, honestly, even if we wouldn't agree with their way of life or whatever, but, like, it's not right for somebody to, you know, go through so much abuse, like, consistently like that. Like, looking at it now at a human, you know, with a human perspective.
For me, just get this woke shit out of here. Just get this woke shit out of here. This woke virus shit. Just get it out of here.
I get how it can.
So the thing is, the reason why I want to speak about this topic specifically is that we've been watching America go through this whole process.
Yeah.
And basically have like a civil war per se.
Yes, literally based because of
this very issue for the last 5 to 10 years.
Yes.
There's been a civil war
now we're bringing on the same
between conservative Americans and more progressive liberal Americans.
Yeah.
Just on this topic alone.
Yeah.
And at some point, you got canceled for speaking against anything to do with LGBTQ. If you spoke against it or you said anything bad about it, you got canceled.
Yeah.
Now it's gone to a point where people can
start voicing out there,
talk about their issues with all these things.
Absolutely.
And that's fine. Now we are following the same trend. People right now, like in America, they're still fighting this battle where they don't, like, a lot of parents do not want their kids indoctrinated into these ideologies. Yeah. Like in some states and in some cities, there are schools openly teaching these things to children. Yeah. Children don't even know what sex is, but you're teaching them about same sex,
and what their sexual preference could be.
In some instances, you see like PowerPoint presentations of like people actually having sex. You know how life how LO used to be. Right? LO never got explicit.
It was more on surface level.
Yeah, it was very surface level.
Yes,
and
very superficial. Like giving you, if you knew what they were talking, then you knew, but also safe enough for those who didn't.
So now things have gotten like really explicit to the point where they're actually showing people having sex at some point. There are some books that show the different genders having sex and how they would do that, stuff like that. It's just a lot of weird stuff happening there. And then it gets to a point where it got to the point where like this the queer LGBTQI community were outright saying that they're here, they're queer, they're coming for your children. So So the problem with this like ideology is that you cannot replicate. You can't replicate. So you have to indoctrinate new people in order to join the community, and that's how they replicate one. They indoctrinate the children, and then the children want to join the community.
So recruit because you cannot.
Yes, because you can't like actually replicate yourself.
But like their argument is. Okay, which I also agree to an extent that it's an obvious indoctrination, but their argument is it's like, well, if you're not going to be swayed, but if you are, you can.
No, these are children. That's the thing. Okay, you know what I say to that. You know what I say to that.
Yeah.
Let the person decide when they're an adult if they want to take that class or not. So do this shit in universities or tertiary education.
Once they're a little bit more,
once they're old enough to understand what everything's happening, and then if they want to take the class,
that I agree.
Have the option to take the class. Don't force it on them and be like
children because we do know children are sponges. Like you will do stuff because you want to be popular. Sometimes you don't even believe in it. You don't. It has nothing to do.
You know what the funny thing is,
or you want to fit in.
Yeah,
or
you know what the funny thing with that. When you have like these publications like Abo Netflix continuously pushing these LGBTQ agendas in every show that they put out, and they see that, then kids see that the popular people are the gay people, the popular people are the ones who are gender diverse. But I think
what the next generation and what they're trying to also push as well is a comfortability to choose a sexuality, like
nobody, like, okay, let me put it like,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes, let me put it like this, right?
Like let it not be a thing. Like they want to take it away from being such a thing where people's emotions are so invested in it.
The fact that
we're invested in it because we come from very
the fact that you have to normalize it. The fact that you have to normalize it shows that it's not normal. It's not normal. Why do you wanna normalize things that are not normal?
Yeah.
That's the problem. So my thing is, if you suffer from gender dysphoria is a mental illness. If you suffer from it, get help.
Yeah.
Back in the day, people used to treat mental illnesses with care and respect, and want to help people who suffer from mental illness.
Now the problem comes with some will say, you can't treat me by giving me pills or giving me therapy or stuff. The only state I'll ever feel, helped in is if you allow me to exercise.
But it never fully works, because you
pick up new problems.
No matter how much you try to be the other gender, you will never fully be that gender.
That's true.
So you're chasing a goal that you will never reach, and that will make you even more depressed when you get into. We've seen this happen in the US. They are converting children, they are castrating children, they are giving children all these drugs.
Turn it back again.
And you can't reverse it. And when these people get old enough to understand what to know, this thing is wrong.
I mean, I'd hate the people who allowed me to do that. Like, I'm not old enough to make that decision.
But anyway, so another thing that I want to touch on is like, something has to be done about our constitution, because whenever somebody brings up some bullshit that some bullshit that they want to implement here in SA, they always be like, our constitution allows for it. Our constitution, it aligns with our. They always bring up that shit.
And
like,
that's the thing with things that you just inherit like that, because we were not a part of, you know, putting together this constitution, if we're being honest. We inherited it, and now it's like, well, we're living to discover it, and now everything, that's why everything kind of feels forced on us, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's different when we as a people come up with the constitution based on our values, our principles as well. But now we've been given it, by the way. It's like, so now we kind of have to, you know, take it.
It's very like, so for me, what bothers me about it is that, like, just whenever somebody tries to do some bullshit, they always just say like, our constitution allows for it. Look, this Cape Independence thing.
Our constitution somehow
the first thing Cape Independence believers actually say is that our constitution allows for it. So it's not treason. It's not treason. It's not treason because our constitution. Whenever you say this is treasonous, our constitution allows.
There's no such now.
So you see, our constitution doesn't stand for anything. That's why it allows for everything and anything.
So some, like, even with situations like this, like what happens with me as a parent, maybe, or if I'm a parent to like a girl child or a boy child, right? And now, you know, it's already like now my kid at school has to share a toilet now with the opposite sex, right? One, oh well, they'll argue that those things could have happened anyway, even outside. If children are gonna have sex, they're gonna have sex outside and all of that. Like,
no, but then you're protecting children from different things. Like,
we've seen you can't have raped and
you can't have not even that. Like, you can't have young girls sharing toilets and bathrooms with boys. Young girls are not supposed to see boys as penises.
But they're gonna argue like maybe they should get used to seeing that.
Why?
I mean, I agree not, but that's what I'm saying.
You're pushing sexuality on children.
On children,
that's
and
wrong. Like, children should not be sexualized, and children should not be taught anything about sex. Or be like, stop.
They're not in eyes. That's
stop,
true.
You can't push sexuality on children. Children are still trying to figure out.
Yes.
They're still trying to figure out themselves how they operate. How things are operating around
understanding their bodies.
And then when you're pushing sexuality on them,
that's true.
So you can't have a situation where girls and boys are sharing the same bathroom and space.
So would you say the solution to all of this is to have 3 types of toilets?
No, just my thing is right. Is that, like I said, if you suffer from gender dysphoria, just get help. And this is what the world.
Argue that that's homophobic.
It's not. This is what the world should be striving towards. It's like saying that. Like, just think about this. If you go back in time, and then we were starting to figure out that people are schizophrenic or people have multiple personalities, or whatever. And then instead of trying to help them, you encourage it and you enable it. What would the world have become if we had done that? Like, enabling delusion. What would the world have become?
And like, it's okay. That's the world that they live in. I mean,
so if you have somebody suffering from a mental illness where their perception of reality is not what it actually is.
It's not what it is.
They try to help that person, and psychology has gone a long way
from crazy for real.
From finding treatments and finding ways to help people and all that kind of stuff like that.
So that's how you can't help but think that there is an agenda beyond it.
I think there's some population control happening. They're trying to slow down the rate of which people are given birth and all that kind of stuff like that. And this is the best way. Even Dr. Umar said the same thing. He was like, this whole movement is being pushed on to Africans to control their birth rates and all this kind of stuff like that. And
when it comes to the issue of fertility, I can flat out tell you the biggest reasons for infertility issues on the African continent, child mortality on the African continent is Planned Parenthood International. US, UK, French authorities who come into Africa, invade the medical system, invade the family planning system, and they pollute our women with birth control pills that cause cancer and infertility. They give them vaccinations that cause cancer and infertility. They pay Black women to get hysterectomies. You got people like Bill Gates, the United Nations, the Rockefeller Foundation that come into Africa and fund family planning programs that deliberately seek to reduce the population of African people. That's one of the biggest reasons for LGBTQ. That's one of the biggest reasons for LGBTQ. And I'm not against no homosexual or no lesbian. I love all African people, but I reserve the right to disagree with any lifestyle that threatens the survival of the traditional African family. LGBTQ is the new birth control pill. Why do I say that? 2 men cannot reproduce. 2 women cannot reproduce. And now they're even transgenderizing our children. Do you know what that means? They're manipulating and indoctrinating African children to undergo sexual surgery so they'll never be able to reproduce again. When Dwayne Wade, whose son is now legally had his birth certificate changed, he's legally a girl.
Yeah.
Hormone therapy. When he gets 30 years old and looks in the mirror and says, you know what? I don't like living like this no more. I want to go back to being what God made me, a man. I want to get a wife and I want to have children. We only got one problem, don't we? Your reproductive is gone. We got another problem. Your testosteronic levels are gone. Your ability to produce healthy seed is gone. There is no going back. We are not looking at this LGBTQ thing the way we should be looking at it. It is birth control and racial extermination. Why you think Kamala Harris is traveling throughout Africa, trying to convince African countries to legalize gay marriage? Why does America care how Africa chooses to run its society? What do you care about marriage in Africa? Because if we can invade African culture to the point where we can manipulate African children into same-sex relationships or outright transgenderism, which is the extermination of your bloodline, we can start predicting the reduction of the African population. They'll never be able to get rid of all African people, but they can damn sure make a dent in our numbers. But more than that, they can disrupt the natural, traditional, healthy, cultural way that we live our lives, build our families, and run our societies. LGBTQ is one of the greatest weapons of white supremacy against the survival of African people.
For me, I kind of see, because it never made sense how corporations will get behind this to the point where it starts affecting their businesses.
Like people they will risk their brands for it
to get behind
because the movement is more important. Then
see things like that. But anyway, my main thing about this is that South Africa has way too many problems right now. We have way too many problems to be taking on this. America has been fighting this for the past 5 to 10 years. They're in a much better situation than us.
Do we really have these problems where people are suffering like this?
No, we don't have it in masses even. Nowhere near. I've never even met somebody who complains about the toilet. I've never met anybody who complains about the toilet and be like, this.
Or is it us inheriting problems?
And another thing is this: it's like, who's coming up with these things? Like, who's tabling these things? Like, we have serious issues in education. We, like, as people, we're demanding better education. We're demanding more literacy from our students.
But these are provisions they're
busy coming up with these things. Like, I understand what's going on, because the complaints that people come up with are never really addressed.
This is what like confuses me, because I'm thinking, like, are there actual incidents where we're having people like in masses? And we never hear about it.
It's probably like a few incidents here and there every other day.
Or someone was bullied or whatever.
And then
how does it help the situation to mix them? Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, so
to have a unisex.
It's gonna be it's the whole argument. It's the whole argument that they make there in America, is that they do all of these things so that people can stop discriminating against these.
But is it really in a toilet? Are we gonna solve those problems in a toilet? Like I don't.
It's a system. It's a system designed
Yeah,
system
to
designed
separate.
to separate genders, right? And well, now the argument is that if you're gender fluid, you're discriminating against me because I do not fit in any one.
Yeah, I'm wearing a skirt. Okay, maybe you're allowing me to wear a dress or whatever. Because now they are allowing.
No,
right?
no, it hasn't even gone there yet. That you see, it
No,
hasn't.
I think I saw something.
No, that was that's that thing that we used to do in high school, man. Like every once in a while, that one day where you can swap.
No, not that.
Where did you see that?
Okay. Before I say that, I need to fact check. But I saw something like that.
I saw a window.
There is a school that allowed like some kids who were like transgender females to actually wear like dresses. And there was a whole thing about like, oh, I'm so happy they've allowed me. I don't know, but I saw it.
Well, they should have their own schools then. That should be the solution. Just have your own school.
But that defeats the point. They want to be incorporated into society. I want to be a girl in society, not a girl in a.
So another thing is
in the LGBTQ world.
Another thing is another argument that they fail to understand is that by accepting like this rhetoric or this ideology, you can infringe on the rights of other people. So, like for example,
women.
Yes, you can infringe on the rights of women.
I mean, there are women who are gonna be very uncomfortable with that situation. Women, and are they wrong? Are they homophobic?
Yes. Women want to feel safe in their spaces, and they don't want and in those spaces they don't want other men to be around.
Are they transphobic? Sorry.
So and there's other things like allowing men to compete with women. You're infringing on the women's rights to compete amongst women, and so there's that argument as well. Like, okay, if you accept this thing, you're also infringing on the rights of the other people that believe that there's two genders.
Yeah.
What about those people? What about their rights? What about their beliefs?
I mean, nobody cares about their rights because they grow up in the world.
So you see, it's like, okay, so now when you allow for a world where it's like you can have these contradictions, whose rights are more important than the others? Yeah. So you see, so stop enabling delusion. Yeah. Stop enabling delusion. Help the people that need to be helped, and we won't have these problems. Like, it's just as simple as that. And I don't want to be thinking, Guti, whenever my son goes to school, they teaching him some shit I don't want him to learn. I don't want that.
They're teaching him to be a girl.
I don't want that. Like, he must learn that from me. He must learn what it means to be a man, what it means to. He must learn that from us. From seeing how we. And
then I'll deal with that I'd rather deal with that if he.
Not being taught in school. Like, in America, they dumbfounded by a question like, what is a woman? They asking themselves that shit. What is a woman?
I don't want to.
A documentary was even made about that shit. Yeah. About what is a woman. Something that we all know.
And also, I feel like a lot of people won't answer because they want to be politically correct, or like, you know what I'm saying. So like we want to sound progressive.
I do not want us to get there at all, and we have way too many problems to be worrying about these things. Like our education system is not good right now. It's not good at all. And the literacy levels of our kids have dropped. Some kids make it to grade 4, grade 5. They can't even read. Yeah. Or they can't even comprehend what they're reading. Why don't you focus on that shit instead of this? Though, like, the world cannot accommodate everybody. We just need to be honest.
That's a good point you made.
The world cannot accommodate everybody. Yeah. So
you're not always gonna have representation in everything.
That's why the world is different in different places. Africa is different from America. America is different from South America. South America is different from Europe. Europe is different from Asia. There's all differences. These are all different people living different lives in a different set of rules and different laws and all that kind of stuff like that. Just go to a place that suits you best. You can't have the world or the whole world try cater to you. Go to a place that suits you.
That's true.
Like I don't understand.
It's almost like that's true.
Yeah, basically I don't want these problems right now. I don't want these problems. I'm raising a son, and I don't want my son being indoctrinated into these ideologies especially
Yeah.
without my consent, especially without
And
my
this
knowledge.
is not in any way a hate towards,
Like, I don't mind.
but it's
you
like,
you as an adult,
live your life.
you as an adult,
but
you can live your life. You can choose to sleep with whoever you want to sleep with.
whoever,
You can
wherever,
choose to
whatever.
identify as whatever you want to identify as, but I'm my child's guardian,
Yeah.
and as my child's guardian, I'm responsible for what he
Yes.
learns and what he should be taught and all his beliefs and all that stuff like that. And
Yeah.
until he becomes old enough to make his own
To
decisions,
make his own decisions.
I'm the one who should be prioritized in shaping his beliefs and all that. And I don't want that to be taught in school.
Or somebody else to take
Yeah.
that position.
Because you don't want a situation where the government is the one instilling beliefs and ideas in children. You
Yeah.
don't want that. Yeah, basically we don't need these problems right now. And I hope that when this gets put out in the public and people can have a say and they can vote on it and stuff like that,
Yeah.
the majority votes against it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, you guys just let us know what you think about this whole situation.
Yeah, let us know.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And keep watching. Goodbye.
We'll check you guys in the next one.